Please like this video. I really need your support right now. It's the only way this story can reach more people. Thank you so much for being here with me and for your support. She set the carton of lo mein down, leaned on the counter in her new earrings, and fired it point blank. Who I spend time with is my choice. You don't get a say. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't blink. I forked a dumpling, set it back, and answered, okay, your choice. And mine too. If I'd known where that line was headed, I'd have skipped the dumpling and started packing right then. The week before, she'd done 3 support meetings with the Front Range Women's Empowerment Circle. Twice she walked in at 2 a.m. with a bar stain of cigarettes and somebody else's cologne dressing her like a coat. She laughed when I asked where they meet. Around. She laughed when I asked why her geotag suddenly went quiet. Because I'm not 16. The new vocabulary came in like junk mail, toxic this, emotional that. Nobody owes anyone anything. She delivered it like a script she'd underlined on the train. I set my chopsticks down. Then let's be adults about it. Which means, she crossed to the sink, the clink of her ring on the lip of the glass a little too loud. It means we make choices and live with the price tag. If late nights make me raise a safety flag, that's not control. That's a husband who knows the difference between a yoga mat and a bar stool. Her mouth tightened. I'm not asking permission. I didn't offer to sell any. I shrugged. But I am adjusting my budget. Time, attention, money. Same as you. She stared like she'd swallowed a lemon. There it is. The ledger. You brought the calculator. I just turned it on. She smirked, tapped her phone. Paige says you're making this about your feelings instead of my autonomy. Paige makes slogans. I make plans. I stabbed the carton closed. Eat or toss. I've got an early call. Don't wait up, she said. She held my eyes as she slipped her phone into the back pocket of her jeans, then took her dinner to the couch and scrolled. I carried my plate to the sink, rinsed it like I was trying to wash grit off a stone. When she looked at me again, it was a dare. I waved it off, kissed her temple out of muscle memory, and went to my office. I opened the Empowerment Circle's public page. It was open like a storefront. Photos of boundaries brunch, bonfire healing, after-class martinis. The captions vacuum-packed with the same phrases that had been landing in my kitchen. The faces were younger than Aaron by a notch, loud with new makeovers and fresh declarations. The leader, Paige, wide smile, thin eyebrows, 27 by the bio, had the energy of someone who'd found a microphone and didn't plan to put it down. I started saving posts. Aaron's comments, Aaron's likes. Then her own stories. Best night. Finally feel alive. That one stung only because at dinner she'd told me she was at a movie night at Paige's. I saved it, labeled it, put a timestamp. I wasn't chasing. I was building a map. When my screen dimmed, I called Ryan in Chicago. He runs analytics for a partner firm. His wife's sister is an attorney in Colorado Springs. Hey man, he answered. Everything good. Mostly. Need a solid family lawyer's contact. Someone who doesn't do drama. He exhaled. You serious? I'm rational. He gave me the name and number. I put it in my notebook. I sent a text to my brother Caleb in Boulder. Might need your guest room for a minute. Caleb, keys under the frog. No questions. I went downstairs, took photos of the house. Each room, each drawer that mattered, time and date in the corner. Not paranoia. Inventory. I transferred precisely half of our joint savings to a separate account. $18,000, not a dollar more. I labeled the transaction Household Reserve, Mark. I packed 2 suitcases with boring things, button-downs, running shoes, an extra work laptop, dental records, originals of my certifications. I lined them up by the garage door and covered them with a drop cloth. When I came back upstairs, Erin had her feet up and a glass of wine in her hand. She didn't look over. You need anything? I asked. Space, she said, eyes on the screen. You've got miles. I'll be late, she added, as if it needed saying. Noted. I went to bed. I fell asleep with her laugh track echoing from a phone that wasn't laughing at me. It was laughing over me like I wasn't there. I woke up to coffee I didn't brew. Erin in a sweatshirt, hair in a half knot, the kitchen smelling like apology. She put a mug by my hand. I got snippy last night. Sorry. Noted, I said. I sipped. It was the roast I like, measured the way I measure it. She'd watched when she pretended not to. She leaned on the island. This is a season. The circle is about women supporting women. You want me to feel small for wanting community? No, I told her. I want you to feel safe, and I want to feel respected. I don't need your routes. I need your truth. Truth is I'm tired of managing your feelings. Then stop, I said. Manage your schedule. I'm changing mine. She blinked. Meaning? Lazy Tuesday is on hold. Shared budget spends over 50, get a text. I'm out of any plan that starts at 10 p.m. and ends tomorrow. If it touches our mortgage, we talk. I'm also booking a guy's weekend in March, fly fishing up near Poudre. I'll send the dates. She tapped the mug. Is this supposed to punish me? It's supposed to stabilize me. You're free to live how you want. I'm free to opt out. You're making this antagonistic. I'm making it clean. She studied me, then softened her voice half a notch. I found a retreat, she said. Aspen. Wellness weekend. Spa, yoga, reset, adults only. I think it would be good for me. Phones. It's immersive. Meaning the phone takes a nap when it's convenient. Meaning I don't owe anyone a check-in if I'm breathing on a sauna bench. Then don't, I said. She brightened, just a touch. I knew you'd come around. I didn't come anywhere, I said. I stood still and drew a line. She bristled, then smiled like she'd remembered a plan. Paige got a group rate. Me, her, Kayla, and Jenna. We'll be gone Thursday night to Sunday afternoon. Don't make this a thing. I won't make anything. I finished my coffee, set it down, went to grab my jacket. When's your flight? Driving. Right. Wellness via a 4-hour playlist. She rolled her eyes. You know, mocking isn't attractive. Neither is contempt. I kissed my finger and tapped the counter. Make your choice, Aaron. That night, I watched her pack. I didn't hover. I saw the edge of the new red set peeking from her tote, the kind that doesn't belong near a yoga mat unless the mat has changed jobs. I said nothing. Choices, price tags. Wednesday, I had lunch with my team. Luis from finance raised a brow. You look like you're about to reforecast your life. Something like that, I said. You need a couch? He asked. I got a brother, I said. And a plan. My phone buzzed. Aaron sent a selfie from Paige's loft, all 4 of them grinning with green juice. Caption, reset incoming. No apologies. Luis glanced down. That's the crew. That's the slogan factory. You okay? I'm not a vase, I said. I don't tip if someone bumps me. Thursday evening, she wheeled her suitcase to the front door like she was rolling a grenade she named Growth. She looked at me like she expected a speech. All I gave her was the truth she'd asked for. You said I don't get a say. I told her, calm as a grocery list. I respect that. Paige honked from the street. Kayla's voice cut through the open window, high and giddy. Jenna yelled something about playlists. Erin flicked her hair, paused long enough to let me see the earrings again, and left. The car pulled away under a laugh and a flask. I watched the taillights turn the corner and fade. Then I picked up the folder off my desk, checked the tabs, and walked it to the kitchen. Evidence wasn't emotions. It was dates, times, captions, screenshots of her best night. Finally feel alive, and we claim space, without apologies, under a photo that didn't match any movie night. I booked Monday morning with the attorney in the Springs. I scanned the receipts, the bank transfer, the inventory photos. I placed it all in a binder. I wrote a letter in ink. You wanted to make choices without my input. I respect it. Independence means consequences. Papers file Monday. You're free. I slid my ring onto the envelope and left them on the table. Around 10, a guy I didn't know called. Is this Mark? It is. I'm sorry, man. I don't want trouble. I'm at the Cooper Avenue bar in Aspen. Your wife's telling folks she's single, buying rounds, took her ring off. Said her husband doesn't get a say, and she's done with domestic duty. Thanks for the call, I said. You don't owe me anything. I figured you'd want a heads up. I already had one, I said, and hung up. 3 minutes later, Kayla posted a photo. Aaron in a fitted red dress, no ring, shoulder to shoulder with 2 guys old enough to know better, captioned, Girls' Weekend equals freedom. I saved it, time-stamped it, and slid it into the binder. Let me pause the story for just a second. If you're still here, please hit the like button. It really helps YouTube recommend this story to more people. Thank you so much for your support. Now, let's get back to the story. I didn't drive up. I didn't call. I didn't text a block of questions she'd treat like a quiz she refuses to take. I loaded the suitcases into my truck, placed the house keys on the kitchen island, locked the deadbolt from the inside, walked through the garage, hit the opener, and stepped out. When the door rolled shut behind me, it sounded like the end of a meeting that ran too long. Caleb's porch light was on. He hugged me once and didn't ask anything. He pointed to the spare room, the stacked towels, a clean set of sheets. He handed me a key on a Broncos lanyard from some old season. We sat in his kitchen and ate sandwiches like two guys who know that food is just fuel. "You want to talk?" he asked finally. "No," I said. "I want to sleep. Monday I talk." He nodded. "You got the right to be done." "I got the right to be calm," I said. "I'm using it." In the morning, Erin texted a picture of a mountain view and a spa robe. "Reset," she wrote. I put my phone face down. She came home Sunday around dinner. I wasn't there to meet her. She called. I let it ring out. She texted, "Where are you?" "With Caleb." Binders on the table. "You're being dramatic." I answered, "I'm being organized." She called again. I picked up. "What is this?" Her voice was too controlled, like she was holding it by the throat. "You move out?" "Seriously?" "I moved away from disrespect," I said. "You're overreacting to a weekend with friends." "I'm responding to a month of contempt," I said. "There's a difference." "You left a ring." "Who does that?" "A man who's done pretending things smell like lavender when they smell like smoke." "Can we meet?" she asked. "Tomorrow. 7. At home." "I'll be there with Caleb." "He's driving." "You're bringing your brother like muscle?" "I'm bringing a witness," I said. "I'm done with he said, she said." She huffed. "This is humiliating. Consequences tend to be." She hung up. 10 minutes later, a softer ping. "I made dinner. Can we at least eat and talk like adults?" I typed, "We'll talk. Keep the dinner." She fired a heart emoji that felt like a boomerang a child tossed without enough arm. Monday at 7, I walked into my own house like a guest. Caleb stayed by the door. Erin had set the table. Candles. A roast. The works. She wore a sweater I liked, the one I'd bought last fall without thinking. She greeted me with a small smile. "Hey." "Evening," I answered. Caleb gave her a brief nod and leaned on the wall like a coat rack with opinions. She gestured at the plates. "I cooked. Thought we could reset." "Keep the word," I told her. "You've used it up." She flinched. "Okay. Look." She folded her hands. "I got carried away with the circle. It felt good to have people, you know? Women who get it. Paige says. I don't need Paige's lines. I cut in. I need your honesty." "My honesty is I felt invisible," she said. "I needed space." "Space isn't the issue. Disrespect is." I opened the binder. Slid a page across. "You told me movie night. You posted best night. Finally feel alive from a bar." "That's not." I added the Cooper Avenue call note. "Random guy did me the courtesy you wouldn't." "I didn't do anything wrong," she snapped, then softened instantly. "I mean, I didn't do anything to hurt you. You did plenty to remove me. That's not hurt. That's erasure." She glassed up. "I took my ring off because it felt heavy. I put it back on. You left yours. That's the bigger message." "Correct," I said. "Mine is final." "You already filed?" She looked at the envelope like it might bite. "I meet counsel tomorrow." She stared, then reached out and squeezed my hand. It was calculated and warm. "Can we not jump to the nuclear option? We can do counseling. We can set rules. I'll check in, if that's what you need. I'll scale back the meetings." "No," I said simply. "You're not even going to try?" She blinked, hurt like a prop. "I tried every Tuesday with cheap noodles and your feet on my lap," I said. "You handed me slogans. I'm out." She sat back, the soft act slipping. "So you punish me because I wanted something for myself?" "I'm not punishing you. I'm choosing me." Her mouth went hard. "You're making an enemy out of me, Mark." "I don't need enemies," I said. "I need peace." She looked past me at Caleb. "Can you give us a minute?" "No," I said. "We're done with closed rooms." Her nostrils flared. She reached for a new tactic. "Paige can explain the group. You're misreading it." "I'm not meeting your coach," I said. "I'm not joining your league. Here's how it goes. You can stay here for the next 30 days and sort your plans, or you can go now. I'm staying with Caleb. The joint account is halved. 18 to me, 18 stays put. Big purchases get a text confirmation. You want to use the garage? Take the clicker. The house keys are on the island. I'm off logistics for your retreat life. You want independence, you get it. I won't be there to carry your coat. She laughed without humor. This is so small. This is adult, I said. She sniffed, turned the roast off, and said, fine. Leave. I already did. I closed the binder. One more thing. Stop positioning yourself as single in public. It's not true. Be precise with your stories. My stories are mine. Then pay for them, I told her. All the way. I stood. Caleb opened the door. Erin followed us into the entryway like she suddenly remembered she could move her feet. You really won't try counseling? She asked, softer. We're past coaching, I said. We're in the part with signatures. I'll change, she whispered. You'll pivot, I corrected. To keep the benefits. She reached for my sleeve. I stepped back. Don't, I said, not unkind. She let her hand drop. If you go through with this, you'll regret it. I regret tolerating it this long, I said. Good night. We left her in a clean kitchen that smelled like a home she'd just discovered had rules. Tuesday at the office, I was clear. I emailed HR about updating my emergency contact and address. Luis leaned through my door. You okay? I'm done, I told him. Clean, not angry. He nodded. Proud of you. Hold the parade, I said. I've got numbers. At noon, my phone lit with Erin's name. I let it go. A second later, a photo hit my text, a picture of the roast, plated, caption, made too much. Could drop some at your brother's. I replied, don't. Thanks. 3 dots. Then, I'll be at Page's after work. We're doing a circle about repair. I wrote, repair starts with respect. Enjoy your circle. At 3, Jenna called me. We'd met twice. Her projects always had the feel of a rowboat with a hole. Mark? Hey, Erin's off. She's hurting. She thinks you're making a power move. I'm making a dignity move, I said. She said you took money. I took half. Math is mean like that. You could just slow down. I've been slow for months, I said. This is steady. There was a pause. You're not the guy they describe. I'm not the guy they invented to sell each other bravery, I said. You want to help Erin? Tell her truth tastes better than slogans. I hung up, then walked to a meeting with my director. Work was numbers and people who only lie when they don't know the answer. That, at least, I could price. That evening, Erin tried variant 2 of soft. She pulled up to Caleb's with takeout from the diner by my office and a small bag with my favorite socks that somehow got into her drawer. She knocked. Caleb answered. Is Mark here? She asked. He's out on a run, Caleb said, not moving. She held up the bag. Just dropping this. He nodded at the porch chair. Leave it. She looked over his shoulder like the house might answer. He can't avoid me forever. Caleb shrugged. I've seen him avoid worse. She exhaled. I'm trying. Try telling the truth, he said. Not the Instagram version. She left the bag on the chair, climbed back into her car, and drove off. I came back sweaty and quiet. Eyed the bag like it might teach me something, then took the socks because I needed socks. Wednesday, she flipped the play. She brought the fight to my turf. I had a one-on-one with my director, Kelsey, a woman who measures her sentences like ounces. We were reviewing a quarterly forecast when my assistant cracked the door. Your wife's here, she murmured, apologetic. Kelsey arched an eyebrow. That urgent? I stood. Give me 5, I told her. Out in the hallway, Erin stood with Paige at her shoulder. Paige smiled like a coach about to deliver a speech. Erin cut ahead. We need to talk, she said. Let me pause the story for just a second. If you're still here, please hit the like button. It really helps YouTube recommend this story to more people. Thank you so much for your support. Now, let's get back to the story. I'm at work, I said. This is not the place. Paige slid in smooth. We're here to hold space for accountability. I laughed once. I prefer to hold a calendar. You're not on it. This affects Erin's stability, Paige continued. As a woman, Erin can send an email, I said. As a man at work, I'm going back to my meeting. Erin reached for control. You left a letter like a teenager, she scoffed. You want to be a grown-up? Sit down for 10 minutes. 5, I corrected. I pointed to a small conference room with glass walls. No slogans. No Paige. You and me. 5. Paige opened her mouth. I held up a hand. Boundary. She clamped it, but her eyes burned that 27-year-old zeal that thinks old words like vows are antiques. Inside, Erin perched like she was about to start an interview. I didn't sit. You're making a show, I said. At my office. Don't do it again. I need answers, she said. You have them, I said. You just don't like them. Do you love me? She asked. I respect me, I said. That used to be enough for both of us. That's not an answer. That's the only one left. She shook her head. We can fix this. We could have, I said. Back when the fix was listening. You staged disrespect in public, Aaron. You positioned yourself as available and called it wellness. I don't have to live inside that fiction. I didn't. You did, I said. And then you minimized it. Twice. You brought dinner. You brought socks. Those are tactics, not change. She stared like she'd found out gravity works even on her. You're really ending it, she said flat. I ended it in the kitchen when you told me I wasn't allowed a voice, I said. This is paperwork and logistics. She leaned back. Then give me the house. No, I said. Sell it or buy me out. 30 days to decide. She tapped the table like she was driving a nail. You're cold. I'm finished. I opened the door. Time's up. She stood too fast, bumped the chair, looked toward the hallway where Paige pretended she wasn't glued to the glass. Erin rolled her shoulders, put on a smile like a dress, and walked out with her. I stepped back into Kelsey's office and closed the door. You good? Kelsey asked, eyes steady. Better, I said. Numbers are easier. Kelsey nodded. They always add up. Thursday morning, Erin swung for a public hit. She posted a story, a black and white selfie, sad eyes, captioned, when someone tries to control your freedom, stand taller. The comments from the circle were a chorus of claps and advice. I didn't respond. I screenshotted and slid it into the binder. Midday, Jenna texted me another attempt at mediator. Coffee? Neutral ground? I typed, no thanks. She sent a thumbs up that read like a shrug. Friday night, Erin went live with Paige from Paige's loft. I didn't watch. People sent me clips. At the gas station, a neighbor, Tim, nodded at my truck. Sorry, man, he said. I saw a thing. Not my business. You're right, I said. It's not. It'll pass, he offered. It won't, I said. It's being replaced. Saturday, I got the call from Aspen I already told you about. That same night, I wrote the letter, placed the ring, packed the truck, left. Sunday, after our Monday talk, she tried the last soft weapon, sweetness. A string of messages, too warm, too sudden. Remember our first road trip? I still have the mug you chipped. This house is empty without you. I let them stack and fall. By scene 5. And yes, in my head I started calling them scenes, because that's how it felt, like a friend handed me a script and I decided to cut it up. We arrived where there's no return. She showed up at my brother's again, this time with groceries and a plan to make pancakes for all three of us like we were doing a sitcom reunion. Caleb looked at me. I shook my head. He opened the door anyway, because he's nicer than I am. She moved to the stove like she owned it. I'm making breakfast, she announced. We're going to talk it out. Paige says never make big decisions on an empty stomach. Paige needs new material, Caleb said, settling at the table with a paper. I poured coffee. You have 10 minutes, I told her. Same as at the office. She cracked an egg like it owed her money. I overdid the circle. I see that. I'll cut it to once a week. No late nights. I'll text when I'm out. No more coy captions. Happy. Not a performance review, I said. And I'm not interested in managed behavior. Then what? She flipped a pancake, looked at me over her shoulder. You want me to crawl? I want you to own your choices. You can't live like you're single in public and married in private. She slammed the spatula down. I never. You did, I said. Red dress. Ring off. Cooper Avenue. The man who called me did it with more respect than you. That was one night. That was the loud one, I said. It had a choir behind it. She turned the burner off. Fine. You win. I'll move out. I'll take the guest room at Paige's for a while. Is that what you want to hear? I want you to decide, I said. 30 days. Buy me out or sell. She looked around Caleb's kitchen like she was considering throwing the pancake against the wall. She didn't. She picked up the plate and handed me one like I was supposed to thank her for the gesture. I didn't. I'm good, I said. She set the plate down. You don't forgive. I don't forget, I said. Forgiving is a transaction. Respect is a condition. She nodded once, lips pressed so tight they were a chalk line. You'll hear from me, she said. I already have, I said. She left the groceries on the counter like a donation to a shelter she didn't believe in and walked out. Monday, I met with the attorney. We went through the binder. She asked me how angry I was. I told her I was organized. She nodded like that's the right word. We set timelines and actions. No drama, just forms and choices. I didn't ambush Aaron with anything. I sent every document on email with a copy to my brother for record. I kept everything clean. I didn't take the bait from the circle. When they posted a quote about men fearing women's light, I closed my browser and went for a run. 2 weeks later, Aaron tried one more public swing. She posted a photo of a key on a palm, the caption "Freedom Fits," Paige and Kayla filling the comments with fireworks. I didn't answer. I photographed the for sale sign the realtor planted on our lawn, sent her the comp analysis, and wrote, "Cash offers preferred. Decide by Friday or I choose." She wrote back 3 words, "You're unbelievable," followed by a long paragraph that was half nostalgia, half threat. I replied with 2 sentences about dates and an appointment with the appraiser. No adjectives. The house sold in 6 weeks. She took a 1-bedroom off Spear with a balcony she liked to pose on. I bought a Craftsman on the edge of Longmont with a garage big enough for a workbench. I gave her the couch because I didn't want it. She asked for the kettle. I said sure. She tried to keep the little antique clock my dad rebuilt, said, "It's decor." I said, "It's mine," and took it. You learn fast which hills matter. We met once more to sign final things. She showed up with Jenna instead of Paige, maybe because Jenna smiles more and sells less. Aaron looked tired, not repentant, just worn. "You really don't have anything to say?" she asked, pen hovering. "I said it all," I answered, back when it could have mattered. "You never made me feel safe," she tried, brandishing a phrase like a shield. "I made a home," I said. "You made a crowd." She scribbled her signature like a scratch ticket and pushed the papers back. "I hope you get what you want." "I already did," I said. "Clarity." She waited for a speech that didn't come. I stood, slid my copy into a folder, and tapped the table once, my version of a gavel. At the door, she fired her last round. "You'll be alone." "I doubt it," I said, and meant it as a neutral forecast, not a victory lap. When I stepped outside, the air didn't smell like relief or smoke. It smelled like nothing, which is its own kind of good. Epilogue's boring if you only like fireworks. It was perfect to me. I moved into the Longmont place and set it up like a man who knows where the screwdriver goes. Work picked up. I took a bigger project and led it without asking anyone for permission. I bought a used Jeep that doesn't care about paint. Weekends, I drove up to Poudre with Caleb and stood in water that doesn't ask for captions. I dated when I felt like it, and when I didn't, I made ribs and invited Luis and Kelsey and their spouses over to sit on lawn chairs that still had labels on them. 3 months in, I met Dana at a friend's backyard thing. She asked good questions. She didn't flinch when I answered short. She laughed at my dry jokes without trying to turn them into a TED Talk. We take it slow. Slow is good. "Aaron, I hear things." Jenna told a neighbor who told me that the circle cooled. Paige found a new slogan. Kayla started a podcast. Aaron took a job at a boutique and posts more quotes than photos now. The balcony behind her like a stage that got smaller. Sometimes she tries to comment on my runs with a nice trail. I don't reply. That's not spite. That's a boundary she taught me to draw by refusing to recognize mine. There's a box in my garage with the letter I wrote and the ring I left. Not because I'm sentimental. Because reminders are cheaper than repeating mistakes. If there's a lesson, it's simple. When somebody tells you you don't get a say, believe them and take yours somewhere else. The price tag hurts for a minute. The dignity pays every month. The last time Aaron texted, she wrote, "Do you ever think we quit too soon?" I looked at the message a long second, then typed what I wish I'd said at the very beginning, before the circle and the slogans and the late nights and the red dress and the call from Cooper Avenue. We didn't quit. We just stopped pretending this was mutual. Then I put my phone on the workbench, tightened a hinge on a cabinet that needed it, and went on with my day.